My name is Megan and welcome to Wanderlust Voyages. We are here to tell you all about Morocco, from the cities to the culture to the cuisine. If you would like to learn more about Morocco, please be sure to like this video and subscribe, hitting the notification bell so that you're notified of all of our future uploads. Today I'm going to cover another question that is frequently asked by our travelers, and that is related to health concerns with traveling to Morocco. So the first question is typically, are there any vaccinations that I need to have in order to go to Morocco? A lot of people have this thought in their mind that, oh, if you go to Africa, you need all kinds of medications or vaccinations beforehand. Well, for Morocco, none of those are necessary. According to the CDC, there are some recommended vaccinations, and that will depend a little bit on where you're going, what you're doing, what kind of risk there is. So officially, they recommend the hepatitis A, hepatitis B, typhoid, and rabies vaccines. However, most people don't get any of them. If you are planning on going really off-roading and staying only in really local areas and staying in family homes in those places, then yes, you might want to get some of those. However, for most people, if you are staying in hotels, riads, in the developed cities, then there's no risk and there's no need to go out of your way to get additional vaccines. With rabies, if you're not planning on getting up close and personal with the local wildlife, there's no risk. With typhoid, same thing. A lot of that has to do with food and drink. And again, as long as you are not in locations that are extremely rural, then it is not an issue. So, speaking of food and drink, next question is it safe to drink the water there? Safe, yes. Recommended, not so much. The water in Morocco is drunk from the tap by locals. It is not a place where even the locals don't drink the water. However, for travelers, because there are, of course, different bacteria that you are not used to, we do not recommend it because over the course of your trip, it can cause some digestive distress. So we recommend stick to bottled water. However, for brushing your teeth, totally fine to use tap water to brush your teeth. If you are eating fruits and vegetables, I will say it depends on where. If you're in the cities, especially in like a big hotel, absolutely eat the raw fruits and vegetables, no problem. If you are in more rural areas, I would recommend staying away from raw vegetables and only fruits that have been peeled, things like oranges, bananas, because then whatever may be on the outside is not the part that you're eating. Of course, this is really out of an abundance of caution, but when you are going through the Sahara, over the Atlas Mountains, through Boumelin, Ouarzazate, you're on the road for a long time, so you don't really want to take any chances with not feeling great. So just stay away from raw fruits and vegetables in those areas. However, cooked, totally fine. Also, I know with the water, that usually goes hand in hand with ice. Well, for the most part, you're not going to have to worry about that in Morocco. There is not a lot of ice that you're going to find outside of hotels, and in that case it is going to be purified water. So if you are in a hotel or restaurant where ice is given to you, then perfectly fine, don't worry about it. I honestly can't think of any place where you would have ice in something where it would not be safe to drink. So don't worry about the ice. It's such a non-used thing there that it's not going to be an issue. Also, with things that you are drinking, of course, if you are drinking tea, such as, say, with a nomadic family, that's been boiled. That's going to be fine. So there's no worries about drinking tea there. So what happens if you do get sick while you're in Morocco? We do recommend that people bring basic medicines such as Imodium, Pepto, whatever it is that you use to help any sort of digestional upsets, as well as Advil, Tylenol, aspirin of choice, and some form of cold medicine. Unfortunately, especially if you're traveling with a group and you're on this long journey, you may get a little bit more run down and become a little bit more susceptible to catching a cold. So again, you don't really want that to interfere with the enjoyment of your journey. If, however, you're not feeling well and you don't have anything to address that, then absolutely there are local options available to you. First of all, there are some traditional remedies that if you are just having a bit of an upset stomach, typically at a hotel or a riad, they can give you tea with some special herbs to help settle your stomach. And it does work very well. If you need something a little bit more, then you can absolutely go to a local pharmacy and they stock a lot of basic over-the-counter medications. You can find a doctor all over Morocco, even when you are down in Merzouga. You may need to go, as far as Rissani, which is about 30 minutes away, but you can absolutely find them. The good thing is that because it's not the United States, seeing a doctor is very easy and usually very cheap. Sure, you can go through insurance, but when you're just paying, maybe $10, maybe $20, is it really worth dealing with paperwork? No. If it is something a bit more severe, say you fall down the stairs or have some other kind of accident, getting to a hospital may be a little bit trickier. It is something where there are hospitals in the major cities. The level of care can vary depending on what hospital you go to. However, if you have the option to go to a private hospital, that's usually going to be a bit better. If you have a medical emergency, you can call an ambulance by dialing 141 in Morocco. However, these ambulances usually are not staffed by EMTs, so if you are there with a private driver, you are going to be better off having your driver take you to the hospital. It's going to be a little bit more comfortable, and then also your driver speaks English and will be able to translate for you. Similarly, if you have a dental emergency or something with your eyes, you can absolutely get that taken care of in Morocco as well. Again, this might be a little bit difficult if you are down in the Sahara, but if you're in Fez, Meknes, Marrakesh, any of the big cities, no problem at all. Speaking of prescriptions, another question is, of course, are there any that I cannot bring into Morocco? There's no specific list of substances or prescriptions, medications that you cannot bring in. However, we do recommend always making sure that it is in its original container with your name on it and the prescription, and having a copy of the actual prescription from your doctor on the letterhead. And especially if you have some prescriptions that are more highly controlled and more likely to be sold as street drugs, make sure that you have your prescription with you. Also, always take that in your carry-on. We also recommend that you make sure that you have extra medication with you as well. Some medications can be refilled in Morocco with a prescription, but not all of them. A lot of the pharmacies don't necessarily carry the same sort of pharmaceuticals that they do here in the US. It may be very small amounts, and so they run out easily. So be prepared with that. So I hope that covers all of your questions about health in Morocco. If I've missed anything, please be sure to leave the question in the comments below. I will be happy to answer it. And if you have any other questions about traveling to Morocco, please let me know. I'm happy to address those as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Next, I will be doing a video on bagrir. So bagrir is a Moroccan pancake and it is absolutely delicious. So I hope you'll join us for that one, and I hope to see you in Morocco someday. Thanks for joining us.